Okay, I am on page 11 of the class packet. Yes, we did page 9 yesterday. Okay, so yeah, I am on page 11. And for this first question, it says, are the following solutions to the system? Well, there's only going to be one answer because two lines can only cross at one place. Now, you could do one of the methods. You could graph them. You could do substitution and see, actually what answer would work. But when you have options, the quickest way to do that is to just plug these values in for x and y. So for example, I'm going to start with this first one. I'm going to plug those in for x and y. So I'm going to have 2 times 4 plus 5, and then it'd be times -5 equals 17. So again, I took 4 and plugged it in for x, and I took -5 and plugged it in for y, and I'm just starting with this top equation. Now, when I do that, I get 8 minus 25 equals 17. Well, 8 minus 25 is -17. -17 does not equal 17, so that means this cannot be an answer, so B would be your answer. Okay? Because again, that's not a true statement, so that means A could not be a solution to this system. So B would have to be your answer. So I'm just showing you for number 1 that when you have options, to plug those numbers in for x and y into either equation and see if it works out. Meaning see if it makes a true statement or not. So just to show you, if I plugged in 1 and 3 for that same equation, so plug 1 in for x and 3 in for y, I get 2 plus 15, which does come out to be 17 equals 17. So that's why B does work. Okay, now for, if you remember, there's 3 methods to solve a system: graphing, substitution, elimination. Remember, regardless of what method you're using, the answer is still going to be the point where the 2 lines would intersect. We just have other methods other than graphing, but we're still doing that same thing. So we already covered graphing and substitution, so I'm going to go ahead and teach you elimination today. So basically, what you're going to do for elimination is you're going to take your 2 systems and add them together. Now, a few things. This only works if one of the variables, either the x or the y, is going to cancel out before you add them. So, for example, in this first one, when I add them together, I already can tell the y's are going to cancel out because -6 plus 6 is going to equal 0. So, in order for a variable to cancel out, they have to be the same number and they have to be opposite signs. So y has the same number 6 and they're opposite signs. So I know before I even add these together, the y's are going to cancel out, which is the purpose. I want that to happen. So if I go ahead and add this together, 5x plus 3x is going to give me 8x. -6y plus 6y is 0. The y is gone. It canceled out. Equals -32 plus 48 is 16. So now I'm going to solve for x. I would divide 8 on both sides, and I get x equals 2. So there's half my answer, because again, the answer is going to be where the 2 lines cross. So I got half my answer. Now, to find y, I'm going to go back to one of these 2 equations and plug 2 in for x. Does not matter which one you pick. So if I do the top one, it's going to be 5, but instead of x, I'm going to put 2 minus 6y equals -32. To solve for y, I start by doing 5 times 2, which is 10. Subtract 10 on both sides, and I get -6y equals -42. Then divide -6 on both sides, and you're going to get y is +7. So there is your answer to the first one. So again, that means if you were to graph both of those lines, they would intersect at the point 2, 7. All right, let's try the next one. So I'm gonna go ahead and add these together because I can see just from looking at it, the x's are gonna cancel out. So negative 3x plus a positive 3x is gonna be 0. So the x's are gonna cancel out this time, which is what I want. When I add these together, I want either the x's to cancel out or the y's. So now I'm gonna continue. Negative 3y plus negative 4y is negative 7y, and 9 plus 5 is 14. Divide each side by negative 7, y is negative 2. So when I go to write my final answer, this time I have the y value first. So I have the y value, and now I need to figure out what x would be. So go back to one of your originals. I'm just gonna pick the top one again. And this time, when I write this out, I'm gonna plug negative 2 in for y. So that's gonna give me negative 3x plus 6 equals 9. Negative 3x equals 3, because I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. And divide each side by negative 3, I get x equals negative 1. So the point where this one would cross would be negative 1, negative 2. Okay. So just give you a couple seconds in case you don't have that down if you're following along in your packet. So we're going to move on to page 12 and continue just practicing the elimination method today. So, same thing. I want to start and I'm going to add them together. However, when I look at this one, the x's are not going to cancel out when I add those two equations together, and the y's are also not going to cancel out. So I can't add them yet because it's not going to work. I need to get one of them to cancel out. It does not matter which one you choose to cancel out, whether it's the x's or the y's, but one is going to be easier. So I'm going to do y's in this case. To get these to cancel out, I would need this 5 to become a 15, because then it's going to be positive 15 plus a negative 15, and that will end up canceling the y's out. To make that 5 a 15, I need to multiply it by 3. And that means I got to multiply this entire equation by 3. So I'm going to bring the top one back down because I'm not doing anything with that. That's staying the same. Okay. Now, for the bottom one, when I say I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 3, I'm going to distribute it. So 3 times 7x is going to give me 21x. 3 times negative 5 is going to be negative 15y. And 3 times 17 is 51. Now I can go ahead and add these together because now the y's are going to end up canceling out, which is what I want. So negative 2x plus 21x is going to be 19x. The y's cancel out, and I'm left with negative 32 plus 51 is 19. Solve for x by dividing 19 on both sides, and I get x equals positive 1. So there's half my answer. Now I have to go back and figure out what y would be. Now, you have 3 equations to choose from. You can plug it into this one, you can plug into this one, or you can plug it into the equation that you used after you multiplied everything by 3. That's fine. You get the same answer. It does not matter. I'm going to go back to the first one again. I just kind of always go back to the first one. So negative 2 times 1, because x is 1, plus 15y equals negative 32. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Then I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I get 15y equals negative 30. Divide by 15, that'll give me negative 2. So there's my answer for the first one. Okay, I'm going to do one more example with you, and then we're going to be done for today. So the next one, again, I cannot add these together right away because if I were to go add these together, nor the x's or the y's are going to cancel out. So you got to pick one. Again, it does not matter if you pick the x's or the y's, but there usually is one that's easier. In this case, the y's are going to be easier because they're already opposite signs. If you remember back from the page we did prior to this, I said for variables to cancel out, they have to be the same number as well as opposite signs. So again, you could choose the x's. It's just going to be harder because you'd have to make one negative. I'm going to choose the y's because they're already opposite signs. Now, I got to figure out what number can I make 2 and 3 so that they match? I'm going to change them both into the number 6. If I want to change 2 to a 6, that means I'm going to multiply the top one by 3. And if I want to change the 3 to a 6, I'm going to multiply the bottom one by 2. So you can change both equations. That's fine. Whatever it takes so that one of your variables ends up canceling out when you add them. So the top one I'm going to distribute a 3. So that's going to give me 9x minus 6y equals 3. And on the bottom, I'm going to distribute a 2. So that's going to give me 16x plus 6y equals 4. Now I can go ahead and add these together because now my y's are going to cancel out. So 9 plus 16 is going to give me 25x. Negative 6y plus positive 6y is 0, so that's good. 3 plus 4 is 7. Now divide each side by 25. And this time we're not going to get a nice number, but that's fine. We're going to get 0.28. Okay, so there's half my answer. I got 0.28 for the x value. Now I'm going to go back and find the y. Again, you have 4 equations to choose from. The 2 original or the 2 new ones. Doesn't matter, you're going to get the same answer. Again, I always just go back to the first one. So going back, 3 times 0.28, because that's what x is, minus 2y equals 1. So I'm just going back to the original and plugging in 0.28 for x. So starting with this, 3 times 0.28 is 0.84. Subtract 0.84 from both sides. Negative 2y would equal, let's see, 1 minus 0.84 is going to give me 1.84. Oh, wait, sorry, messed that up. I hit too many buttons. I say that didn't make sense. 0.16, there we go. So 1 minus 0.84 gives you 0.16. Divide negative 2 on both sides, and you get 0.08. So there's your answer for the last one. Okay? So those are all 3 of the methods. So your test over this packet is going to be solving by graphing, solving by substitution, solving by elimination. Again, you can't use Desmos when you come back to take the test, but you can use it on your homework if you want to check your answers. Just put these in the Desmos and see where they cross. You're going to get this as the answer. Now again, don't be dependent on that because on your test you have to show me all this work. I'm just saying Desmos is an option to help you in the meantime if you want to check to make sure you get the answers correct. Also, this is everything that's on the test, so we've covered everything. This last page is just extra practice, okay? So you have these questions to practice if you want it. You can send me a picture of this page and I can check to make sure the work is right. You can email me if you're confused. There's lots of resources out there to help you if you get stuck. Just email me, okay?